So we're gonna start with internal rotation. I'm gonna have one block up near my head for a pillow, and I'm gonna keep another block, and I'm gonna take it and put it between my legs. So with this one, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start lying on my back, and I'm just gonna have this guy within reach. So I'm gonna have my arm out at about 90 degrees, and then for most people, we're gonna start with it down about 10 degrees from there. We'll train it here, and as you get really good here, then you can start moving your arm up higher. Then we're gonna roll right onto our shoulder, making sure that you don't get any closing angle pain in the front. So no pinching in the front here. If I get that pinching, I'm gonna back off a bit, and I can adjust this angle as needed to make sure I keep it pain-free. So once I've rolled on top of that shoulder, I'm then gonna take my block and place it under my neck. Now let's say I've got very little space between my ear and my shoulder. What I'll do is I'll leave my arm right where it is, but I'll scooch my body up relative to that, and then pull that block underneath my head. If when I bend my elbow and internally rotate my arm, I run into my body, again, I'll leave my shoulder where it is, but I'm gonna scooch my hips and my rib cage back relative to my shoulder to create a little bay of space for my arm to rotate into. So you're gonna assess your own active internal rotation, keeping this elbow solidified at 90 degrees. See how far you can internally rotate to pull your fingers towards your belt buckle if you were wearing one. Once you can't go any further, you'll take the other hand, you'll place it on top, ideally below the wrist, so we're not torquing through the wrist, and then you'll take it a little bit further passively, and then we're gonna hang out and stretch here. Now, my favorite way, especially when range of motion is limited, so when you're stuck up here, this is really awkward. So I prefer to actually cup the bicep and then use the elbow, because you have more surface area in contact that way, which is way better for when you start produce force. It'll also keep your nervous system, again, a little bit more calm, which will help you access more of a stretch, and it just feels nice. But once you get way down here, it gets tricky to do that, so then you can just switch to using your hand. So you do whatever works best for you. Find your end range active, take the other hand, take it a little bit further passively. Make sure that you don't start to roll away from it. Try your best to stay on top of that shoulder. Now, if you have limited shoulder range of motion, I'm going to ask you to hit pause and make sure that you accumulate 2 minutes here before you start doing pails and rails. When we do the pails, we'll be isometrically irradiating through this arm, trying to drive up out of the stretch. The rails will be trying to pull ourselves deeper. The emphasis is all on the rotational component of your upper arm. So you're fixating on this part of your arm. We're gonna get right into it, okay, because we're keeping this a short class. But like I said, if this is limited for you, please hit pause, spend 2 minutes here, set a timer, and then just hit resume on the class. So from this position, I'm gonna have you irradiate through that arm, tighten up everything, squeeze that block between your legs, core gets engaged, and you're gonna slowly apply pressure up into your left hand as if trying to externally rotate. Just 20% effort to start, slowly creeping up to 40%. Keep climbing 60%, 80%, and then your greatest pain-free effort if you can do so. If you can reach 100% effort safely, if you've been in this membership for a while, or you've been training with me for a while, then feel free to ramp up to 100. If this is your first time, keep it where you need to. If you have to stop at 60, that's okay, stay at 60. As your tissue tolerance improves over time, you should be able to go higher. We're gonna keep holding this for another 4 seconds, then we're gonna reverse. 3, 2, 1, fight to pull that bottom hand away from the top hand. Try and spiral that arm inwards. It's as if you were arm wrestling a ghost. Fight to pull that arm as low as you can by internally rotating that shoulder. Don't let the wrist bend like this. Keep it straight the entire time. Keep fighting for every centimeter of space that you can gain and hold. Keep going. 3, 2, 1. Then the top hand comes back in and you can completely relax that right arm. If you can take it a little bit further passively, if you're not too uncomfortable, feel free to do so. Then we're going to do another rep here. Into your nasal breathing. Again, as I always say, nasal breathing in between sets. Try and ramp that nervous system back down before we ramp it back up. You're going to get a better change if you can actually shut that stress response off in between reps.